Hello, my name is Barbara Buchanan. I grew up in North Carolina. Now I live in San Diego, California. I was born hearing, but then at the age of 5 fell ill and lost my ability to hear. I want to share with you an experience about my first move to San Diego. At that time, I was living with some friends. It was around the fall of 1983, around November. One of my friends had a garden that had a variety of peppers left. Mainly jalapenos were left. They had beautiful colors, red, yellow, and green, and I didn't want them to go to waste. So I figured, why not put them in freezer bags? Put them in the freezer. And then during the winter, if we wanted to make chili, we'd have the peppers to throw in there. So I gathered up the peppers and went inside the house and washed them and dried them. Now, I kind of never dealt with peppers before, so I didn't know how to deal with them, but I figured I'd start by cutting the stems off. And then I kind of figured, why not cut them in half and then I'd scoop out the seeds. And then I'd put them in the bags and store them. So I proceeded to cut them in half and core out the seeds. And then fairly quickly, I noticed a burning sensation developing on my hands. So I took a break and washed my hands and then went back to work. But to my dismay, the burning sensation started to increase. I was becoming very uncomfortable. So I figured I'd better stop and wash my hands again. I tried different soaps and scrubbed my hands with a brush. I finished washing and dried my hands, and oh boy, my hands just were on fire. The burning sensation just started to get worse and worse. So then I decided a bowl of ice water might work. I got the bowl and put ice in it and then filled it with water and dipped my hands into it, and I felt such relief. It really was working. But then about an hour later, I got really sick of sitting there with my hands in a bowl of water. So I took them out and dried them and decided to put lotion on my hands, and that was a big mistake. They were on fire at that point. So I hurried and washed the lotion off and put my hands back in the water. Then my friend came home and I explained to her, these California peppers have burned my hands. I don't know what to do. We were both at a loss, didn't really know what to do. And so finally I suggested she call urgent care and get advice from a nurse. So she called for me while I sat with my hands in the bowl. By now I'd been sitting there for about 3 or 4 hours. My hands were starting to shrivel and get all pruny. So my friend said that the nurse told her to try some meat tenderizer. And I said, meat tenderizer? How on earth is that going to work? Sounds so made up to me, but I guess might as well give it a try. So I got some tenderizer out of the cupboard and I put it on my hands, and it made the burn 10 times worse. That nurse didn't know what she was talking about, so I hurried and put my hands back in the ice water. By now it had been about 5 or 6 hours, and fatigue really started to set in. I was tired, I was sick of sitting there, and I really wanted to go to bed. So what I did is I laid upside down on my bed, and I set the bowl up in a corner so that it would be secure, and I put my hands over my head into the bowl. I fell asleep with no problem because I was so tired. I woke up about 12:30 or 1 in the morning. And as I started to wake up, I thought my hands were better, but then once I was fully awake, they started burning on fire once again. So I hurried and put my hands back in the bowl. And I finally got better with time. But now I know from now on I will not be touching peppers ever again, and if I do, I will wear rubber gloves.